girls, good morning. I'm about to have myself a little bowl of soup. I've got my saucepan here, I've got my soup. The problem is, how do you get into a can of soup? Huh? I don't know. How do you get into a can of soup? I know. Set it there. We'll use a hatchet. That's a good way to get in. Cut straight through the can of soup. Perfect. There we go. Got myself a hatchet. Got my soup. Let's get into the soup so I can make myself some nice lunch. Here we go. Didn't work very well, did it, boys and girls? Maybe I have to hit it harder. Here we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, boys and girls. Uh-oh. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you know what would have been better? A can opener. That would have been better. Can opener would have been so much better. Oh no. I wonder, could you use a can opener to cut your toenails? What do you think? Let's give it a go and see. Let me see. Right. Take my sock off. Put my foot up here. There's my foot. Let me see. Use a can opener to cut my toenails and clip it. Yow! Don't use a can opener to cut your toenails. Oh, what would you use to cut your toenails? I know, nail clippers. Yeah. And here they are here too, nail clippers. You can use them to cut your toenails or your fingernails. I wonder, could you use nail clippers to chop wood though? Let's have a look and see. I've got a bit of wood here. Let's see if you can use nail clippers to chop wood. Oh, you can, look. Look. There's a teeny bit of wood. Where'd it go? There. Teeny tiny bit of wood. That would take a while though. Better not use nail clippers to cut wood. Do you know what? It would be better to use a hatchet to chop wood. That would be so much better, because then you can set it there and away you go. Boys and girls, that is interesting.
Now, boys and girls, I made a mess there. And I think Kate is going to have my life. Because I tried to use a hatchet to open a can of soup. I mean, who would do that? What was I thinking? Using a hatchet to open a can of soup? You use a can opener. And you don't use a can opener to cut your toenails. You use nail clippers. And you don't use nail clippers to cut or chop wood. You use a hatchet. I had all the tools, but I used them for the wrong things. Boys and girls, dear, 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 what is wrong with me? But boys and girls, I want you to think about that for a second, because here's the thing. You are useful to God. A hatchet is useful for chopping wood, but it's not very useful for cutting open a can of soup. Well, it is useful for cutting open a can of soup, but it's not useful for opening a can of soup in a careful way. And a can opener is great for opening a can of soup, but it's not very good at cutting your toenails. And like I said, you're useful to God, but we all have different uses for God. We've talked about gifts before, but I'm talking just in general. God can use you, and He does, and He will use you for different things. But we just don't know what they are. That's pretty awesome. God will use you. If you are a Christian and you say to God, God, use me, use my life, He will use you in different ways to fulfill His purposes, so that things that He wants to happen will happen. He uses people like me and you so that they happen. Isn't that amazing? It's phenomenal, boys and girls. God will use you to make things happen that he wants to happen. And all we need to do is just trust in him and say, Jesus, I want to live for you. Use me in whatever way you want. And he will use you in the way that is perfect for you. It might not be the same way he uses someone else, but that's okay. Because we're all different. You can't use a hatchet to cut your toenails. Good grief, you'd cut your whole toe off. No. People are used in different ways according to the way God wants them to be used. So don't look at other people and think, oh, I want to be used that way. God will use you in the way he wants to use you. But the point is, we need to be willing to be used. So boys and girls, I hope you think about that. And pray about it and say, God, use me. Use me to fulfill your purposes so that the things that you want to happen will happen. Use me. Let me be part of that. In our story today, which we're going to read out in a wee minute, Mary and Joseph were used by God. And even Caesar Augustus was used by God to make the things that he wanted to happen come about. So boys and girls, just remember that. God can and he will use you if you're willing to be used. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.